Hi, Alyssa here for AOP Tech on YouTube. Today I want to show you some updates that recently happened to Google Forms, specifically affecting the quiz feature and the grading in the quiz feature. These updates were announced at ISTE at the end of June and have made teachers very happy, and I hope that you find it helpful. So we're going to jump over to my sample quiz. It's an exit ticket on the American Revolution Acts. I've already set up my quiz. I've already gone into my settings and I made this a quiz. So that way it would have those correct answers set in there. I've placed all my settings in. A pro tip that has to do with another Google Forms recent update. If you go to the snowman in the top right corner of your Google form and you select preferences, that's brand new. I've already done this. I've set the default quiz value point to 2. It used to be that all the quiz questions would be 0, and then you'd go in and set your amount. This will set a default point value. You can absolutely override it if you wanted to make some questions worth more than others, but it gives you a nice baseline there. So I have already set up my quiz completely, or my exit ticket completely. I've formed my questions, I've turned on the quiz feature, I've set the correct answers for my quiz. And in fact, I've already had 5 student responses. So when I click over to the responses tab, this is where the big change happened. So previously you would see the summary, which is what the view is now. We'll take a look. And you'd see the individual, where you could look at each individual student's start to finish quiz. The new one is this question feature, which allows you to batch grade questions in there. The beauty of this is previously, if you wanted to look at, say, giving partial credit to something, or marking more than giving a student, points because later on it was determined that maybe a question wasn't clear, something of that nature. We as teachers, we do that all the time. We say, okay, I see, let me give everybody the 2 points for that, something of that nature. You'd have to go into each individual student's form to be able to do that. However, you can now look at the batch question. So for example, I'm here on question 3 of 5 on my exit ticket, and required, this is the act, name the act, required the colonists to provide food, lodging, and supplies for the British troops in the colonies. This is the quartering act. I can see that 3 students responded with that. They got it correct, they got the 2 points. It also showed me that 2 of those students who took it, and I could click this to see which students, student 1 and student 4, also answered T act. And it gave them 0 points. Now, if I were talking with those students after and they came to me and said, you know what, I was really thrown off by that question because I saw food in there and that made me think of tea as an important good in the colonies. And I could say, you know what, maybe I should have been more clear in the way I worded that. I could either mark it all correct, and you can see what it would do would just give them the 2 points there. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I just want to give them 1 point for thinking logically about a question. What that does, if I hit save at the bottom of my screen then, is that it gives any student, both of those 2 students, student 1 and student 4, it will add in an extra point to their grade without me having to go individually to their quizzes. So student 1, if I go back to it now, I'll see it here. If I scroll down, the student did not do very well. But if I scroll down, name to that 3rd question, name the act, I can see it now has 1 point for the T act instead of 0 points. So the really nice thing about that question feature is now you can look at an individual question across the whole cross section of your students' responses and determine if you're giving partial credit, or if you're throwing a question out, maybe you can mark that as incorrect, or you can go in and give everyone the full credit for it without having to go into the each individual student quiz that it applies to. And it'll be reflected after you do so and you click save, it'll be reflected both in their individual, like we clicked over to, and if I go to the summary, I can see that the average and the median went up. It gave student 1 previously had 2 points, now they have 3 points. It gave student 4 who previously had 6 points, 7 points there. So it gives the opportunity for you to take a look at the question by question basis instead of kind of having to go through individual responses. And again, with 5 students, individual responses would not have been bad. If you've got 50 students taking a quiz or an exit ticket and you want that to be faster and efficient, that would be quite cumbersome to do. So this new question feature is brand new. It was launched about 3 weeks ago at this point, and I know it will make lots of teachers very happy in this upcoming school year, so I hope you take advantage of that. As always, subscribe below for AOP Tech on YouTube for your latest Google and EdTech updates. And we are also on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all under AOP Tech. And we hope to continue to share and learn from one another. Thanks.